The worst and best times for foreign tourists to visit Japan.
Samurai Junjiro Channel.
Hi, I'm Akanemaru, born and raised in Japan. In this video, I'll explain in detail the periods foreign tourists should avoid and the best times to visit Japan. Japan has 4 distinct seasons: cherry blossoms in spring, colorful leaves in autumn, snowy landscapes in winter, and lively summer festivals. However, in reality, there are periods when heavy crowds, expensive accommodation, and limited transportation create a lot of stress for travelers. In this video, I'll share why certain times should be avoided and which periods are better alternatives using concrete examples. By the end, you'll discover useful tips to make your trip to Japan much more comfortable and enjoyable. The first period to avoid: late March. Late March may seem attractive with spring break and cherry blossoms, but in reality, it's one of the most crowded times in Japan. The main reason is that Japan's new school and fiscal year begins in April. During this period, students travel during their spring vacation, and many workers move due to job transfers and relocations. As a result, trains, buses, and flights become extremely crowded, making it hard to secure seats. In addition, with the high demand for moving services, truck and delivery bookings become limited and hotel prices rise significantly. For tourists, this period may still seem attractive because cherry blossoms begin to bloom. However, since locals also enjoy cherry blossom viewing, famous spots like Ueno Park or Kiyomizu Temple in Kyoto become packed with people. For example, in Tokyo, the usual commuter rush combined with tourist movement makes stations overcrowded, and even passing through the gates can take extra time. Airline tickets also become more expensive due to spring break demand, and domestic flights from rural areas to Tokyo or Osaka are often fully booked. Therefore, you should remember that late March brings more stress from crowds and expenses than the enjoyment of cherry blossoms. If you must travel during this time, you'll need strategies like visiting tourist spots early in the morning or focusing on regional cities. But if possible, avoiding late March and shifting your trip to mid-April or later will allow for a more comfortable and cost-effective journey. The second period to avoid: early April. Early April may look like a very attractive period for foreign travelers visiting Japan. The reason is, of course, cherry blossoms. In Tokyo and Kyoto, cherry blossoms are in full bloom, creating spectacular scenery and offering that quintessential Japanese atmosphere. However, in reality, this period is one of the worst times to visit Japan. The main reason is that it coincides with the beginning of Japan's new school and business year. During this time, new employees and students all start commuting, making public transportation even more crowded than usual. What makes things worse is the massive increase in people buying commuter passes. At ticket counters, especially JR's Midori no Madoguchi, long lines form, and foreign travelers often wait for over half an hour just to buy Shinkansen tickets. Stations are also packed with new commuters and students, making it extremely difficult to move around with luggage. In addition, since it's cherry blossom season, locals also gather in huge numbers at parks and famous spots. Places like Ueno Park, Chidorigafuchi, and the Philosopher's Path in Kyoto are packed even on weekdays, making it difficult to simply take photos. Hotel rates also rise sharply during this period, and popular hotels sell out quickly. As a result, even if visitors come for the cherry blossoms, they often end up struggling with crowds and high costs. That said, if you really want to enjoy cherry blossoms during this time, there are alternatives. For example, in the Tohoku region, cherry blossoms bloom in mid-April or later, so shifting your trip there lets you enjoy full bloom without the intense crowds. Visiting spots early in the morning or at night can also help you avoid crowds and enjoy the blossoms in peace. Nevertheless, if you want a smoother experience, it's better to avoid early April and plan your trip for mid-April or later. The third period to avoid: late April to early May, Golden Week. Golden Week is Japan's most famous and also most crowded holiday period. This holiday spans from the last week of April to early May, when multiple national holidays align and most Japanese people take vacations at the same time. As a result, tourist spots, transportation, and accommodations across Japan all become crowded, making this one of the worst times for travelers. The Shinkansen becomes especially congested, with reserved seats often selling out immediately after booking opens. In the past, you could still board by standing in unreserved cars, but in recent years, many lines have abolished unreserved seating, meaning if you don't have a ticket, you simply can't get on. Flights and highway buses are also heavily booked, with prices sometimes doubling or tripling compared to normal. Hotels face the same issue, with popular destinations fully booked months in advance, and even business hotels or guest houses charging much higher rates. Crowds at tourist sites are overwhelming. Places like Kiyomizu-dera and Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto or Sensoji in Tokyo are so packed that walking becomes difficult and you may have to wait just to take a photo. On top of that, roads suffer from traffic jams. Highways can see traffic jams stretching for dozens of kilometers, adding hours of delay to reach your destination. Thus, during Golden Week, when the entire country is on the move, tourists face stress in transportation, lodging, and even dining. If you must travel during this period, you'll need strategies like booking 6 months in advance, focusing on regional cities, and traveling early in the morning or late at night. But if possible, it's far better to avoid this period and visit in mid-May or later, when conditions are much more comfortable and affordable. The fourth period to avoid: June to July, rainy season and summer heat. From June to July, Japan is far from an ideal time for tourists. First, June marks the rainy season, when long and frequent rains cover much of Japan. Unlike the short showers in Southeast Asia, Japanese rain often continues steadily throughout the entire day. You'll constantly need an umbrella, and wet clothes and shoes make sightseeing uncomfortable. On top of that, the high humidity makes it feel hotter than the actual temperature. Once July begins, the rainy season ends and the full force of summer heat arrives. Summer in Japan not only exceeds 30 degrees, 86 Fahrenheit, but also combines with high humidity, pushing the heat index even higher. Just a short walk outside causes heavy sweating and increases the risk of heat stroke. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, heat radiating from the buildings and asphalt makes sightseeing exhausting and unpleasant. During this season, heavy rains and even typhoons can disrupt transportation. Shinkansen and flights may be delayed or cancelled, forcing major changes to your travel plans. This mix of unstable weather and extreme heat makes sightseeing far less enjoyable. Many travelers have said, "I had to use my umbrella the whole trip in June and July," or "it was too hot to even walk outside." If you must travel during this time, limit your sightseeing to mornings or evenings and spend midday indoors. Hokkaido is a good alternative, as it has little to no rainy season and remains relatively cool compared to the rest of Japan. Still, overall, June to July is one of the least favorable times to visit Japan, and traveler satisfaction tends to be lower compared to other seasons. The fifth period to avoid: August, summer vacation and Obon. August in Japan is one of the toughest times of the year for travelers. The biggest reasons are the combination of extreme heat and heavy crowds. First, daily temperatures often exceed 30 degrees, and in cities, it is not uncommon to reach over 35 degrees, 95 Fahrenheit. With high humidity, the heat feels even worse, and just walking outside makes you drenched in sweat. Many people are hospitalized with heat stroke, making it a serious risk for travelers as well. In addition, Japanese schools have their summer holidays and many families travel during this time. Tourist spots, theme parks, and beaches all become crowded, with several times more visitors than usual. The biggest issue within August is Obon. Obon is a traditional Buddhist event in mid-August when many Japanese return to their hometowns. During this period, Shinkansen trains, flights, and highways are jam-packed, with reserved seats selling out right after booking opens. In fact, many travelers report that I couldn't get a reserved Shinkansen seat from Tokyo to Osaka even a week in advance. Highways often see traffic jams stretching for tens of kilometers, turning a 3-hour drive into 6 hours or more. Hotel prices also skyrocket, sometimes doubling or tripling in popular areas. Tourist spots are so packed that even taking a simple photo becomes a struggle, leaving visitors more exhausted than satisfied. If you must travel in August, consider cooler destinations like Hokkaido or mountain resorts. You can also avoid some heat and crowds by visiting spots early in the morning or in the evening and spending midday indoors. Still, if comfort is your priority, August is definitely a period you should avoid whenever possible. The sixth period to avoid: late September, Silver Week. Late September is a period that requires special caution when planning a trip to Japan. The reason is that every few years, Japan experiences a long holiday known as Silver Week. It occurs when several public holidays align with weekends, creating around 5 consecutive days off, and many people take vacations during this time. For example, 2026 is particularly notable, with holidays from September 19th to 23rd, and some people will extend this into a 9-day vacation from the 19th to the 27th by taking extra leave. During this time, reservations for flights, Shinkansen trains, and highway buses sell out almost immediately after booking opens. Hotels face the same situation, with demand skyrocketing and prices doubling compared to normal seasons. Tourist spots become as crowded as they are during Golden Week. Historical sites like Kyoto and Nara, or tourist spots in Tokyo such as Asakusa and Odaiba, are packed with people, making it difficult even to take photos. Highway traffic jams are also severe, with trips that usually take 2 hours stretching into 6 hours or more. Since many families travel during this period, theme parks and amusement facilities are overcrowded, with popular attractions requiring several hours of waiting. For travelers, the combination of transport inconvenience, higher hotel costs, and overwhelming crowds often result in a less satisfying trip. If you must travel during this time, it is better to focus on regional cities or less crowded areas. Still, the wisest choice is to avoid Silver Week in late September if at all possible. The seventh period to avoid: late December to early January, New Year holidays. Late December to early January is the most important holiday season of the year in Japan. This period overlaps with Christmas festivities and cities are decorated with dazzling illuminations. At first glance, it may seem like a great time to travel, but in reality, it is one of the worst periods for tourists. One reason is that New Year's is traditionally a time for Japanese families to gather. Millions of people return to their hometowns, causing Shinkansen trains, flights, and highways to become overcrowded. Reserved Shinkansen seats often sell out immediately, and unreserved cars are packed with standing passengers. At airports, returning travelers and tourists overlap, resulting in long waits as security at check-in counters. Another major issue is the sharp increase in hotel rates. In popular areas like Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, prices can more than double, with rooms sold out months in advance due to family trips and group bookings. Tourist spots are also crowded with New Year shrine visits. At places like Sensoji, Meiji Shrine, and Fushimi Inari Taisha, hundreds and thousands of visitors arrive from New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, making movement extremely difficult. In addition, many small shops and restaurants close during this time. Even in regional towns, visitors may struggle to find open restaurants or shops. On the other hand, large department stores and chain restaurants remain open, but often with shorter hours. The cold weather also affects sightseeing. In northern Japan and mountainous regions, heavy snow can disrupt transportation. Therefore, visiting Japan during New Year often means facing a triple burden of crowds, high costs, and shop closures. If you must travel at this time, it is best to secure accommodations early in major cities and focus more on experiencing Japanese New Year traditions than sightseeing. From here, we'll cover the recommended times to visit, so pay close attention and make the most of this information for your trip. The first best time to visit: mid-April. Mid-April is one of the most highly recommended times to visit Japan. One reason is that the hectic rush of late March and early April settles down, and both transportation and city life return to a calmer state. By this time, the rush of new workers and students buying commuter passes has passed, making ticket counters less crowded and Shinkansen tickets easier to purchase. For travelers, the ability to move around without stress is a major advantage. This is also an excellent time for those who want to enjoy cherry blossoms. While cherry blossoms in Tokyo and Kyoto may be falling, Tohoku and Hokkaido are just entering their full bloom season. For example, Hirosaki Park in Aomori reaches its peak from mid to late April, offering breathtaking views of cherry blossoms around the Kyoto. Sendai's Nishi Park and Fukushima's Hanamiyama Park are also excellent spots to visit during this time. Compared to major cities, these areas are less crowded, allowing for a more relaxed cherry blossom experience. The climate is comfortable, with daytime temperatures between 15 degrees and 20 degrees, making it perfect for sightseeing and walking. A light jacket or long sleeves are sufficient, which also makes packing lighter and traveling easier. Another advantage is that this period comes right before Golden Week. Hotel prices have not surged yet, and even popular accommodations are still relatively easy to book. Crowds at tourist sites are moderate, giving travelers more space for photos and relaxed exploration. Mid-April truly offers the ideal balance of cherry blossoms, pleasant weather, and manageable crowds, making it one of the best seasons to travel Japan. The second best time to visit: mid to late May. Mid to late May is highly recommended time for travelers visiting Japan. The main reason is that Golden Week has ended and the massive domestic travel rush has settled down. After the holidays, Japanese people return to their normal routines, and the crowds at tourist sites and on transportation ease dramatically. As a result, even at popular spots, there are fewer crowds, allowing visitors to enjoy a more relaxed atmosphere. The weather during this period is also very pleasant. In Tokyo and Osaka, daytime temperatures are around 20 degrees with low humidity, making it perfect for sightseeing and walking. Since it is before the rainy season in June, there are many sunny days, making it an excellent time for photography under the clear skies. There are also advantages in terms of accommodation costs. After Golden Week, demand decreases, so hotel and inn prices stabilize, and reservations are easier to secure. For example, ryokan in Kyoto or business hotels in Tokyo drop from nearly double their holiday rates back to normal prices. For travelers, this is an ideal time to stay comfortably while keeping costs low. In addition, it is also a season of beautiful natural scenery. May is the season of fresh greenery, with mountains and parks covered in vibrant green, offering a different charm from cherry blossoms. In rural areas, it is also rice planting season, creating picturesque countryside landscapes and a great opportunity for photography enthusiasts. Mid to late May offers the perfect combination of fewer crowds, comfortable weather, and reasonable travel costs, making it one of the best seasons to visit Japan. The third best time to visit: October to November. October to November is one of the most popular and beautiful seasons for traveling Japan. The biggest attraction during this time is the autumn foliage. Mountains, gardens, and parks across Japan are painted in shades of red and yellow, creating scenery that looks like a painting. Famous spots like Arashiyama and Eikando in Kyoto, Mount Yoshino in Nara, and Irohazaka in Nikko are globally known for their autumn colors. The climate during this season is also very pleasant. Daytime temperatures are around 20 degrees with low humidity, making it ideal for walking and sightseeing. There is none of the muggy heat of summer and none of the harsh cold of winter, so most travelers find it very comfortable. In addition, many cultural events and festivals take place across the country during this time. For example, Kyoto hosts illumination events where temples and gardens are beautifully lit up at night. In Tokyo, events like the Kanda Festival and Asakusa's traditional ceremonies allow visitors to experience the autumn spirit. However, because of its popularity, places like Kyoto and Nikko become extremely crowded during the foliage season. Hotel prices rise, and reservations often sell out months in advance. Therefore, early booking is essential when planning a trip during this period. On the other hand, by choosing less famous regional spots, you can still enjoy autumn colors without the crowds. For example, Lake Towada and the Zao Mountain Range in Tohoku offer spectacular autumn scenery in vast natural settings. October to November combines beautiful autumn colors, pleasant weather, and cultural events, making it truly one of the best seasons to visit Japan. The fourth best time to visit: early December. Early December is a surprisingly good hidden season for travelers visiting Japan. At this time, winter has just begun, but the severe cold has not yet arrived. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, daytime temperatures are around 10 degrees, and with a warm coat, it feels comfortable enough to walk around. In northern Japan, such as Hokkaido and Tohoku, snow begins to fall, but it is still before the heavy ski season crowds arrive. This allows those who want to enjoy snowy scenery to do so in a calm and peaceful environment. Another major advantage is that hotel prices remain relatively stable. As New Year approaches, hotel rates increase sharply, but in early December, prices are still normal, even at popular hotels. Tourist spots are also less crowded, allowing for a more relaxed experience. In Kyoto, some autumn leaves can still be enjoyed, and combined with nighttime illumination events, it creates a magical atmosphere. In Tokyo and Osaka, illumination events begin, filling the cities with dazzling lights. Visiting at this time also lets you experience the special pre-Christmas atmosphere while sightseeing. It is also an excellent time for travelers who enjoy shopping. Winter sales and Christmas promotions begin, and department stores and malls in major cities are filled with a wide variety of items. Yet, unlike the New Year rush, it is still calm enough to shop without overwhelming crowds. Early December combines mild cold, stable hotel prices, and fewer crowds, making it a highly cost-effective and comfortable season to visit Japan. The fifth best time to visit: February to early March. February to early March is a surprisingly overlooked yet excellent time to visit Japan. This period is the coldest time of the year in Japan. Even in cities like Tokyo and Osaka, temperatures drop close to 0 degrees, while in Hokkaido and Tohoku, snow piles up deeply. For visitors from warm countries, the cold can feel quite harsh. On the other hand, for those coming from colder countries like Canada or Northern Europe, the climate may actually feel just right. One of the main attractions of this season is that there are fewer Japanese tourists. Since it falls outside of busy periods like New Year's or spring break, tourist sites are calmer and far less crowded. As a result, hotel and ryokan rates drop significantly. In particular, hot spring inns often offer very reasonable rates, giving travelers the chance to stay at ryokan that are usually too expensive. Another highlight is the unique winter experiences available during this time. For example, you can enjoy the Sapporo Snow Festival in Hokkaido, or watch monkeys bathing in hot springs at Jigokudani Monkey Park in Nagano. In addition, the crisp winter air makes Mount Fuji visible on many days, offering spectacular views. With fewer tourists, you can quietly stroll through famous temples, shrines, and UNESCO sites and take photos without crowds. Of course, proper cold weather gear is necessary, but in exchange, you gain the opportunity to enjoy Japan peacefully and at lower costs. February to early March truly combines cold, affordability, and tranquility, making it a hidden gem season for visiting Japan. Simply choosing the right time to visit Japan can make a huge difference in both crowds and costs. By avoiding peak seasons and traveling during off-peak times, you can enjoy Japan more comfortably and economically. Be sure to use these recommended times as a guide to your best trip to Japan.
Well, that's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye bye!